supposed to have a session with you this afternoon, but he's had to travel. So it's wonderful to see you, and so welcome to Congress. I am here not to speak, and I don't want to eat into Julie GICHURU's time. How many of you know Julie GICHURU? Yes, that's how we all feel about her. We all know her, and we all have great respect for Julie. She's one of our most beloved and well-known media personalities in Kenya, and she'll tell you about herself. But she has worked in media, broadcasting media, she has worked in digital media, she has worked in print media, and she has been one of those very wonderful figures that we always see and love on television, and most recently on Citizen, where she ran the Sunday Live show, which I must admit to you, Julie, I used to watch it every day and love it, because I think you changed the way news is delivered and made it so much easier, so much more enjoyable, especially on a Sunday, when usually there is not that much news to talk about. And Julie is also an entrepreneur, and she'll tell you about her entrepreneurship or exploits, but she has a media house that's looking at African content, because as we all know, Africans don't tell enough of their stories. They don't tell enough of their stories. We are always telling you guys, make your stories, because it is those stories that will inspire others. It is those stories that will move the next person who's despairing and giving up. They're the ones who give them hope. And so Julie is extremely committed to making sure that African content, African stories are told through African voices and by Africans themselves. And she'll also tell us a little bit about that. So it's really a delight and an honor to have you, Julie. It's wonderful to have you this morning. And everyone here is waiting for you to speak to them. So come. Let's welcome Julie with a big applause.
Hi, everyone. I'm a bit short. I think this is hiding me. Can you see me? So I'm so excited to be here. Wow, look at you guys. Please stand up so I can see you all a little bit better, because some of you are so far away, and wow, wow. Hi. How you doing? How are you feeling? Are you happy to be here? Do you feel like you can conquer the world? No, I didn't hear yes properly. Do you feel like you can conquer the world? Yes. That's amazing. I really, now I can see you, because when you were all seated, I couldn't kind of see the numbers, but now I can see you and I feel so good. Can I do something? So, young ladies and gentlemen, I was told to come and speak to you today about success and ethics, all right? And I will speak to those things, but I also want you to feel free. I want to give the Q&A session as much time as possible, because some of you may have questions. Do some of you have questions? Okay, and I want to address whatever questions you might have. So, my name is Julie GICHURU, and I believe I'm successful today because of God. God has always been my center. He's always been who I turn to seek my path, to seek my direction, in difficult times for comfort, in happy times to say thank you and to celebrate with Him. And so I'll start there, because the question is, what is success? Right? And maybe a few of you can share with me what you think success is. Do we have some mics in the room? We do. Wonderful, wonderful. Can I see a couple of hands? What is success? If I ask you, to you, and there are no right and wrong answers, right? To you, what does success mean? What would you say? Where are the hands? Awesome. I see lady here first. Can we have a mic? Oh, come here. Come right up. Introduce yourself. Tell me which school you're in, which year, and then your definition of success. Hi. Hi. Can I get a hug? Oh, awesome. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Emily Nyawera, Kirgoya Girls High School, Kirgoya Girls Form 2. I think success is achieving what you would like to be in future. Achieving what you want to be in future. Yeah. I want to be an accountant.
Thank you very much. Awesome. Very nice definition. Achieving what you want to achieve in the future, right? And we all may want different things. Let me see another hand. Can I see a young man somewhere? Yes, if you've seen someone, please go ahead and give him the mic. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm Peter Wanjiru in Form 2, and I think that success is when you look back at the things that you have done and you get satisfied.
Wow.
Thanks.
Satisfaction. Thank you for that. That's very powerful. So those are two definitions that I really like. And thank you to both of you. So let's take it from there. Success is what you want to be. If you achieve that, then you've been successful, right? And success is being able to look back and be satisfied with your achievements. You've actually captured two very, very important things. Success is relative, and success depends on who you are. Your definition of success is not necessarily your friend's definition of success. Am I right? So someone who wants to be a lawyer, somebody else wants to be a basketball player. Do we have any basketball players in the room? We have a few. Do we have any lawyers in the room? Yes, okay. Someone wants to be a doctor, someone wants to be a farmer, and all that is okay. Yes? Hiya, no one wants to be a farmer? No? Wait. Does anyone, if you want to be a farmer, say I. Thank you, yes. Farming is important. Our farmers are important. If we don't have farmers, we don't eat, we don't survive. There's so much we don't do. So farming is actually what we call the foundation of society. It's really critical. So success is relative. It depends on who you are. So let's really move in that direction now. How do you know who you are? So there's a talk I like to give people, and I want you to write this down. The next thing that I'm going to say, which is very important, and I heard this only a few years ago, and it was said to me by a lady who was heading into her 50s. A very powerful lady, a Ugandan friend of mine, and she had a come to the light moment. She was actually sobbing when she said these words. She was saying, I've lived my whole life trying to achieve certain levels of success. But now at 50, I'm looking back and I'm asking myself, and this is what she said, who am I, and am I who I am? You're not writing. You will thank me for this one day. Who am I, and am I who I am? If we're saying that success is relative, then we have to know who we are in order to identify what we believe success would mean for us. Very often we go through life listening to what our parents say, listening to what our teachers say, listening to what our friends say, and we don't take the time to stop all the noise and find out what our own spirits, our souls, are saying to us. I'll come back to God, and you may believe in Christianity or in Islam, whatever faith you believe in, if you believe in a God, then you know that he's a higher power. And the belief is that we are all put here to serve a purpose, right? But you cannot find your purpose if you don't know who you are. So let's start there. Who are you? For a moment, just ask yourself, who are you? Write down 3 things about you that make you, you. 3 things that are very clear. about you. There was a great speech I heard some years back by a fellow Kenyan, and I forget his name. And actually, this really helped me start to understand how to explain to people how we discover ourselves. And it even made me look back at myself. What he said was, it's very important to go to the people who knew you very well when you were young. Your parents, your aunties, maybe your elder brothers and sisters, yes? And ask them, when I was young, what did I love? Right? And you're still young, so you're lucky. You can still ask yourself. You could ask yourself now, what do I love? But actually, before even you were 8 years old, when you were pretty young, what did you love? Did you love singing? Did you love drawing? Did you love running? Because sometimes in life, we take that away from you. So imagine a young girl singing all the time and saying, I want to be a singer, and everybody telling her, haiweze? Haiwezekani? You can't, you won't. And so 8, 9, 10, she lets her dreams go because she starts to believe she can't. And part of understanding who you are is going back to look at the things that you loved and writing them down. The other thing you can do is look at the things that you're gifted at. Yes? You might be very good at solving puzzles. You might be a very good public speaker. You might be a very good artist. You might be a very good sports person. So that's another thing to do, is write down the things, the gifts. Those are the gifts that God gave you. They are yours. And write them down. And when you look at lists of your character, your traits that you've written down, when you look at what people say that you loved so much when you were young, before the world started to take things away from you, when you look at your talents, it starts to come together. And you start to see who you are and to connect it to what you want to do with your life. Why is this so important? This is so important because if we're going to talk about ethics, right? We have to start off, first of all, by being authentic, by knowing what we want, right? How do we get there? Also knowing why we want it, so that even as you shape your journey, as you eventually get there and chart the new path forward, your authenticity is critical so you can hold yourself to account. Does that make sense? Who wants to define ethics for me? Who wants to give me a definition of ethics? It doesn't have to be a textbook definition, but thank you. A young man has stood up here. Come forward. Are you stuck? It's okay, sometimes in life we get stuck, but we find a way out. Can I get a hug from you too? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Good morning. I'm Tiberius Mogendi, December from Chania Boys. Ethics is principles or a set of rules which govern someone or an organization. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. I don't think I could have put it better. That's absolutely perfect. Thank you so much. Principles. Principles. Once you know who you are, right? You know what your principles are. You're able to define the lines that you will cross and the lines that you will not cross. So can I discuss something a little bit controversial with you guys? School burnings. Can we talk about that for a moment? How many of you... No, I won't ask that question. You want me to ask it? Okay, I'll ask it. Just give me a minute. When I remember myself at your age, there was no way anybody was going to convince this girl, yes, to burn her school. There was no way. And by the way, if I knew somebody was trying to do it, I would have done everything in my power to convince them of the foolishness of their acts. And if that was not going to work, by the way, I was going to report. There was no way. Now I'm going to ask you guys, is there any way that any of you would participate in burning your schools? If anybody would, just say aye. You don't have to put up your hand so no teacher sees you. Some of you have said aye. No, I want honesty. It's okay. I'll ask again, because if some of you have said aye, we need to address it, right? Is there any way that any of you would participate in burning your schools? There were a few ayes. Maybe there were jokes, but maybe there are a few people thinking, maybe I would. This is where the principles come in. And this is where they are absolutely critical. And if you don't form them now, it gets even more difficult to form them later. There is no wealth greater right now in your life than education. If you get education, you're ready to position yourself where you need to be to get where you want to go. Without education, life is a struggle. It is a what? It is a real struggle. So for any young person to steal their own wealth from themselves, does that make sense? Is really puzzling. And that's where the principles come in, that somehow we may have lost the fact that in life, we may be able to go to court for many different issues because we have a very strong constitution for the people today, yes? But some things should be guided by principles, by morals, by ethics, by internal rules that don't have to be governed by external laws. And I hope, when I look at you guys, I think you're the cream of the crop. You are the top. When Equity Bank went out to look for young people to support, the reason why you got into the program is because there was a light shining in you. There was a what? A light shining in you, yes. The potential was there. But the only person who can light that potential is who? It's you, ultimately. You can be supported by Equity, by schools, by mentors, but you are the one who switches on that potential. And so us understanding the importance of principles is really key. I want to teach you a couple of other things that for me were really important towards taking me towards success. I learned a very hard lesson. I always grew up thinking that life should be fair. Shouldn't it? Right? It should be fair. But is life fair? It's very unfair, isn't it? I think the best advice I can give you today is that as you chart your path towards success, as you keep your principles top of mind, the other thing you need to do is understand that you will make your bed. And who will lie on your bed? Who? Your parents. Your teachers. The bed you make is for? No, I can't hear you. Who do you make your bed for? Yourself. Yourself. When you chart your path, as you decide you want to be an accountant, and you put in the work, and you say maths is critical, so I might pay a bit more attention to maths than some of the others, but I'm going to study hard, and I'm heading towards success in accountancy. I want to be a partner in one of the top accounting firms, on the continent, or whatever it is. To remember that every step you take, you need to think out, and you need to remember that you make the bed that you are ultimately going to lie on. So young ladies, if you decide to mess around and get what? If you decide to mess around and get pregnant while you're still going through your education, who made the bed? Who made it? Young men. Mko wapi? Were they young men? My appeal to young men, and I will ask Equity Bank to forgive me for moving a little bit, but I have an opportunity to talk to young people, and I really want you to hear what I'm saying. Young men, God put a seed in you. No, he did. He did. He put a what? You can't just share that seed of your ovio. You can't. God made you a creator of life. We carry life as women, yes or no? Young men, you actually make the life. Yes, I see this young man smiling. He's like, oh my goodness. He put the seed in you, and you carry the seed of life. And maybe we don't tell our young men enough, but you can't just share that seed of life. You need to think carefully about your life, about when you're going to meet, or when you're going to think about getting married, which should definitely not be now, am I right? Much later in life. So even for young men, protect yourselves. Do what? Protect, have the principles to say what I've been given is the gift of life and it's a precious thing. And so when I decide to share this gift of life, it's going to be very well thought out because I'm special, right? And I'm not going to allow women to have my children left, right, and center, and I can't be there for my children. Am I making sense? That when I have a child or children, I will be there in their lives 24/7. Am I right? So thank you, young men. Now, young women, as I said, please value your education. Map your path. Value yourself and your body and don't share it. Path the journey. This all comes back to the ethics and the principles and how to get to success. The minute you start having families at young ages, you derail yourselves. You do what? You derail yourselves and you make it so much harder to get onto that path of success. It doesn't mean you won't make it. No, absolutely not. You still can. You still can make it. It just means your life will be much more difficult. And I don't think you need to take yourselves through that. You know, I host a show called Africa Leadership Dialogues, and I really love that show. I learned so much from it. And there's a proverb that I particularly love to hold on to. Young ladies and gentlemen, that proverb goes, by the time the fools have learned the game, the players have dispersed. By the time the fools have learned the game, the players have what? The secret to life is knowing who you are, planning what you want to achieve and understanding what your purpose is in this life, but also understanding the world and the ways of the world so that you are not the fool that comes running onto the pitch, right? And everybody is like, we just finished by yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to be smarter. In many ways, I believe the problem with Africa is that we were not smarter. We adopted an attitude of coming to the pitch after everyone had left and saying, Bakshishi woye. Isn't it? Africa is constantly doing the woye, woye, woye. Nobody cares. As I've told you, the world is not. It's not fair. They don't care. And even when they tell you they've come because they care, they haven't. They often come because they have interests. But once we start to understand these things, our path towards success can be easier mapped. My final thing I'll say before I go to Q&A from you is it's good and important to know who you are and to plan your journey, right? But often in life, you know, they say, there's a saying that I think I haven't got it quite right, something like, as man plans, God laughs, something like that. You can plan everything to a T, but things can go wrong. Isn't it? My last words of advice to you is, in a very dynamic world, you have to be extremely adaptable, flexible. You must be ready when things happen and this door is closed to look around and say, where's my other option? What can I open? Is there even a window that I can open when the door closes? Look for it. Don't wait for it to come to you. Look for it, because life is not fair. I've already told you that, and you make your own bed. So seek out solutions. It is absolutely critical. The most successful people in this world, ladies and gentlemen, are not people who got things handed to them. They're not even people who found an easy path. They're people who kept failing over and over again, but they kept seeking solutions. They didn't give up. They said, I'm still going to try. I'm going to try again. The world smacks you, pow! Gives you a big, smack on the face, and you get back up and say, I'm going to try again. I'm going to try again. I can do this. I'm going to try again. Those are the most successful people. People like that learn how to look at a challenge and seek the opportunity in the challenge. Every cloud, they say, has a silver lining, right? And so I'm telling you, every problem that hits you, I learned in life about 10 years ago. When problems came, I would complain and I would feel so, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to manage? Then I learned, wow, when a problem comes, actually, it's a chance to show God's greatness, isn't it? I mean, you imagine Moses walking to the Red Sea with the people of Israel who he's just taken out of Egypt, yes? And Pharaoh is chasing them, right? So he's thinking, yay, God has saved us, whatever. And then you get to the Red Sea, and the tide is up, right? And you can't cross. What do you do? So for him, obviously, it was God who came, and he opened the waters, and they managed to walk through. And that's why I always say, everything I do comes back to my Maker, who I believe in. And when he doesn't open a door for me, I say to myself, that means he didn't want me to go in this direction. Because I've tried. I've seen a solution here. I've tried that solution. It's not working. Try another solution. Keep trying other solutions. And the one that is meant for you is the one that will work. If it was not meant for you, again, you will fail and end up back on that path, trying again. But that's not a bad thing. Failure is a better teacher than anything else in life. Failure is only an opportunity to learn. It's only an opportunity to learn. A powerful way to learn. So when you get something wrong, you say, now I know how not to do it. I'm going to try something else. And I promise you, if you start to approach life from that perspective, where every challenge is an opportunity, where you are a problem solver and a seeker of solutions, where you don't get caught up in sitting back, expecting things or whining, there is no way that success will elude you. You will find success. There's an old Chinese saying, well, there are 3 sayings, but I'll share one with you today, which says, be careful what you want, or be careful what you ask for. You might just get it. Plan carefully, understand yourself. Ask yourself, if I do achieve this success, is it really the success that I'm looking for? Would it satisfy me? Coming back to the word given to us by the young gentleman. Would it satisfy me? Ask yourself who you are, why you are here, what gifts you are given, what is your purpose, and connect all that to your story of success. And in doing so, I believe you will achieve an authentic self. You will be guided by your principles. You will know where your red line is and the line you will not cross. You will follow your principles as you walk your journey. And success will not be a material thing. It will then be a very real, authentic, and significant thing in your lives. And with that, I've spoken too much. I would like to open the floor to questions. And as I've said, please feel free to ask as many questions as you want. Maybe I can ask, how many minutes do we have for questions? 20 minutes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, jury, and we invite questions. You have the mics. Just go where the nearest mic is. A question, a comment, an expression of curiosity. Yes, already there is one there.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
My name is Chelsea Ramani Nderitu from Kayole branch. I have actually 3 questions.
Oh, please ask one, the
Okay.
most important one, so that others get a chance, yes?
Yeah.
Thank you.
One is about, it will involve everyone, but 2 are personal.
No. You need to choose your most important question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How did you ever have some failures in your academics, and how did you resolve? And one and the other, I'm coming down there and you'll answer me personally.
Okay, we'll try to fit that in. Okay, thank you. Yes, who is ready? Can I see a hand? Oh, go ahead, thank you. Yes, try again.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Zamina Bule from Way Forces, Gilgil branch. My question is, what has made you stand out and be known more than other journalists?
Wow. Okay, thank you, thank you. A young gentleman, is there a gentleman? So, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You guys don't want to greet your colleagues, your compatriots?
So good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon once more. Yeah, so I'm really privileged to meet Julie GICHURU.
Asante.
And I want to thank the Equity Group Foundation for enabling me to meet
Thank you.
I can say my best journalist so far. I really like watching news whenever she's the one broadcasting it. So
Thank
my
you.
question goes to Julie GICHURU. What has it taken in life for you to be where you are? That's my question.
Thank you. Tell me your name again, please.
I'm Otieno Warren from Kakamega.
Otieno, thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
My name is Martin Crispa. I'm in Kakamega School from 3. And some time back I read an article and I saw something about you where they were talking of you were hosting a birthday party and you had invited the band to come and perform in your house, you know, and you paid them a huge sum of money. So that's so philanthropic of you and God will always bless you. And my question is this, what other things do you do to support these local talents? Thank you.
Thank you. Let me answer those before I go on. Please remind me of your name.
I'm called Martin Crispa. I'm in
Martin.
Kakamega School.
Martin, thank you. Okay, so what's funny?
Hi
Oh,
everybody.
where are you? Hi. Okay, one more and then I'll go to the others. Thank you. The answers. Thank you.
I go by the name Hiram. I'm from GICHURU branch. And my question is, what is it that drives you every single morning, every single day, that you wake up and go to that studio that you have a sitting with that African leader to share with the world?
Thank you, thank you. What great questions. So we'll take more in just a moment and I'll try to answer them very fast so we can take as many as we can. Did I have failures in academics? You know, parents never like to tell their children when they did badly, do they? Whose parents didn't do well in school? There's nobody. Okay, so let me now tell you the truth. Shall I tell you the truth? In Form 1, I was in Msongari. It's an all-girls school. It's a convent. And I used to enjoy, I'm very good at drama. So I used to write plays and do a lot of drama, and I would be in choir, and I'm a really bad sports person. I can't play sports at all, as in don't put me on a team, unless you wanted to lose. But I was very good at cheering. So I was always on the sides cheering for my team. And I was taking part in so many activities that my grades really, really suffered. All right? So one day in just as I was going into Form 2, I sat down with my father and I told him, I think I need to change schools. I said, first of all, I'm in an all-girls school. I think I need to be in a mixed school with boys. Yeah, I was like, I think I need to be in a mixed school. And the reason why is with the girls in class, I don't really care. I'm so relaxed. If I fail at history, which was my favorite subject, and it got really bad because I even failed history that term. And that's when I asked myself, what's wrong? I said, no, if there are boys in class, I'm going to be more competitive. Right? So I said, I actually want to go to a mixed school, Dad, and I want to go to a mixed school because I want to compete with the boys, and I want to go to a mixed boarding school. And I want to go to a mixed boarding school because I think if I'm in boarding school, you have to do prep, right? So you can't just in the evening go home and then pretend you're doing your homework and you're practicing your drama or whatever. And he actually, and that's when I was told the line I've given you. My father looked at me and said, oh, you want to move from an all-girls day school to a mixed boarding school. Ah. Who is it who says, nah? He said, okay. Then he said, Julie, you make your bed. It is you who will lie in it. If you want to move, so be it. As long as you know that you make your own bed. That's actually when I first heard that, and I moved. And can I tell you what happened after I moved? I went back to being a top student. In 844 in Standard 8, I was one of the top students in my year in school. I've never been particularly all focused on academics. I really believe you need a complete rounded picture, yes. But I went right back to being a very, very good, very focused student. And so, yes, in Form 1 and Form 2, I struggled. Let me just put it that way. And then things got back on track. In university, I have to tell you, at one point, I was working 3 jobs to be able to survive in the UK and to help my parents pay my university fees. But at no point did I struggle in class. I was studying because I knew these papers are going to determine my future. These papers will determine my future. So I worked really hard. So Amina has asked, what makes me stand out? Do you know what I really believe makes me stand out? It's just that I am me. Does that make sense? I'm just me. I realized a long time ago, you don't have to sit in front of a camera and try to be like really cool, detached. You know, do you understand what I'm saying? And if I give you that lesson in life as well, always know that you are enough. And if you just be you, I think people feel it. When you're sitting in an interview thinking, oh my gosh, what do I do? How do I behave? Just remember you are enough. And the way I always remind myself that I'm enough is that the Bible says that God made us in His image. You just remind yourself that I was made in the image of God. What could be more powerful, right? So carry that with you. Just be authentic. And that's why I've taken you through who am I and am I who I am. Do I know who I am, and do I know if I'm living a life that's true to me? And if you're comfortable with that, you will be comfortable in your own skin. Otieno has asked, what has it taken me to be where I am? I tell you this, I didn't take education for granted. I didn't. When I got to university, I went to the UK, and in the first year, my parents were able to pay my fees. Then the shilling collapsed. Helen, do you remember when the shilling crashed in 1990? Was it 92? 92, the shilling crashed, which meant that the value of my parents' money for the next year was less than half what it had been the year before. And all of a sudden, I had to ask myself, do I drop out? Yes? Or do I find a way to stay and make sure my fee is paid and make sure I can live in a foreign country? So I had to work. I started working, but I took my education very seriously. Because I believed as long as I had education and knowledge, even more than the papers are important, but it's also the knowledge. And with that, and with knowing who I am, I think it has really helped me to chart my path. I think a lot of other people are still trying to figure out who they are and where they want to be. But if you can figure that pretty early, and it may slightly change, and that's okay, that really helps you if you know where you're going and why you're going there. Martin has asked about Heart the Band. First of all, Martin, I should say, don't read everything, don't believe everything you read, both in the media and on social media. But yes, my husband and I paid Heart the Band to perform at our anniversary. It was our 10-year wedding anniversary. So we got all our friends together, and I really, really loved Heart the Band because I had seen them at Fatuma's Voice. Have any of you heard of Fatuma's Voice? It's a fantastic youth platform where poets come, musicians come, and they even interview personalities, and it's really for the youth and to learn lessons. And Heart the Band came and they sang Uliza Kiatu. That was like a year before Uliza Kiatu was on radio, right? And I loved it. I thought they were really amazing, and so we asked them to come and perform for us. In terms of asking what else do we do in that line, there's a lot of stuff we're doing. We are actually developing a lot of content that will celebrate both musicians, not both, it will celebrate musicians, it will celebrate artists. We want to celebrate sports people. There's something we're actually doing. We're partnering with the sports show on Sundays at NTV. We want to start a magazine show that really highlights the sporting talent in Kenya as well as outside Kenya. So there's a lot we're trying to do, and hopefully you'll see more and more of that coming up shortly. Hiram has asked, what is it that drives you? God drives me. My belief is that we are here in this life on a test, but we came from somewhere else. I don't believe that this is the be-all and end-all for us. And I want to go somewhere better afterwards. Does that make sense? So every day I'm asking myself, with what you've given me, I managed to get education, you've given me certain gifts, what have I done today to make you proud? And every day when I wake up, that's what drives me. Every day when I go to sleep, that's what drives me. Some of you may know that my husband and I lost our third-born son in 2005. He was just 6.5 months old when he passed on. And there's nothing harder in this world than burying a child. Because you think one day your children will bury you, and you want them to have the best life that they can. But you're supposed to go before them, right? There's nothing more difficult than that. And more, my life is just focused on living a good life, or as good as I can. Maybe I can't be perfect, right? We can't all be perfect. We'll make mistakes. We'll do some things that are wrong. We'll try. We'll get up. But I'm going to try my best to live a life so that when I get to what they call the pearly gates, the gates of heaven, God comes and says, you, madam, you get inside. You come in. That's what drives me. Okay, so from there, we can take a few more questions, I believe. People are...
Hi,
yes.
everyone.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I'm Belinda Olwoch from St. Peter's Girls, Nairobi. I have a question. I want to do journalism as a career, and I was asking myself, what is the greatest knockout you've had as a journalist and as a journalist, and also
what is the greatest what?
Knockout.
Knockout.
Yeah.
As in success?
No.
As in what? Oh, as in failure?
Yeah.
Ah, good, okay.
And why did the dialogue only based on Africa? And thank you. That's all.
Sorry, what was the second one?
Why was the African leadership dialogue only based in Africa, and most the leaders were African based?
Oh, the show that I do?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Faith, got that.
Hi,
Next.
everyone.
Hi.
My name is Lutra Ibrahim from Misiolo branch, currently schooling at Materi Girls. Miss Julie GICHURU, I wanted to ask you this question. Who was your role model before you became such a great journalist as you are now?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I'm Jack Mboya, a student at Cardinal Otunga High School in Kisii, and I'm a member of the Rongai Wings to Fly branch. So I had a question for you. You have been able to work with, you have gotten the opportunity to work with international media houses, and you have seen the way that they do things. So as a student who is interested in journalism, I would like to know how, as future journalists, we can match up to the standards of international media houses such as CNN and BBC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Onyango Dennis from Busia branch, Butler School. My question is, can you name a person who has had a great impact on you as a public speaker? Why and how did this person impact your life?
Thank you. Wow.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Wow. Good afternoon.
Mine isn't really a question. Mine is an expression. How many of us have role models here who are professionals, I mean?
How many have role models who are professionals? That's her question. If you have a role model who is a professional, please put your hands up. Hand up.
Have you ever met them? For me, the woman standing in front of you now is my role model.
Oh, where are you?
Here.
Where, you're behind me. Oh my goodness. I'm humbled. I'm touched.
Thank you. And I want to tell you that her life, I research more about her. And what I know about her has changed my life. And forever I'll ever appreciate her. Oh. She will forever be my role model. And if you don't have one, you can join me with. Yeah. And my last question is to her. Can I get a hug from you?
Yes, you can. Please come and get a hug. Wow, that is so humbling.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, as she comes down, hi. Do you want to just wait till the hug happens? How far is she? Okay. Go ahead, thank you. Go ahead with your question.
Hi.
You see in life what happens, hold on, you see in life what happens when you don't take an opportunity or you take time, somebody else jumps in. You saw? Young man, let the lady quickly ask and then I'll come to you. Go ahead, ask your question.
Hi everyone.
Hey.
I'm Brenda from Kobo branch. Mine isn't a question. I just want to tell you thank you because you've just inspired me.
Thank you.
And it is from you that I learned to be a voice to the voiceless, especially from the program that you host, that is African Leadership Dialogue.
Thank you.
I love the way you charity those girls that you interview, and I promise you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So I think someone else needs a hug.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Please just hold on a minute. Wow.
Hi.
Hi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Please go ahead, go ahead.
My name is Abdakim Bishar Sharif.
Okay, a little bit louder and hold it a bit closer. Thank you.
I'm Abdakim Bishar,
Fantastic. Yes.
Bishar Sharif from Garissa High School, Garissa branch, Garissa County. I have a question.
Yes.
But before that, I used to be a fan of Sunday Live, as Mrs. Gishoya said, and also I used to be a fan of African Dialogue while it was in Citizen, but now it has shifted to KBC, but still I'm following you.
Thank you.
I'm aspiring journalist and I want to become a journalist. Actually, I'm a journalist. I'm practicing.
Great. Thank you. Sorry, go ahead. The next speaker is here, so we need to. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So every time I tell people I want to become a journalist, there are some people who tell me that for you to become a journalist, you must have a tall relative or somebody in political power so as to get employment in media houses. Is that true? I want to confirm it from you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi. I'm gonna take two more. So this young lady and the other voice that had spoken. Yes, but let me start with this lady and then I'll come to you. Thank you.
My name is Samira Lipati from Buruburu Girls, and I have a question for you. Do you have other part-time jobs apart from your journalism? And I have a request. You're also my role model. Can I get a selfie with you?
Yes, of course you can. Will you come after? Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you, Samira. My name is Sumira. I'm Sumira. Yes.
Nemsi.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
I'm Mary Nyawira from State House Girls. And my question is, when did you discover your passion in journalism? And also I have a request. I would like to have a photo with you.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, let me take these. Let me take these because there are many, and I believe the next speaker is here already. So, Faith asked about my greatest failure as a journalist. You know, Faith, the other thing about successful people is that they don't tend to remember their failures. We have many. In fact, if you speak to any successful person, they probably will tell you, yeah, I have many failures. And you say, tell me about your failures. They'll be like, It's kind of like we plow through them, you know? When you go through a challenge, you plow through it, and it's out of your mind. Out of sight, out of mind. You learn the lessons, you keep the learnings. But let me tell you, the most difficult moment, for sure, was 2007, 2008 in Kenya, when the violence broke out. Do you remember that? It was devastating to me. I really love this country. I grew up in Kenya. I'm a Kenyan. And I have a passion for my country, as all Kenyans do, by the way. Don't we? Don't we all love Kenya? We may complain about this and complain about that, but at the end of the day, we love our country. And I asked myself, how did one Kenyan start fighting against another Kenyan over a vote? By the way, when you think about it, right? Between elections for those 5 years, don't we live together? We share salt. Yes? We drink tea together. And then all of a sudden, every 5 years, we're fighting with each other. I couldn't understand it. It really hit me hard. And the question I had to ask myself as a journalist is, what is my role? And to me, my role was one key thing. Stop Kenyans from fighting Kenyans. My father served in Liberia during the civil war in the UN forces. And he tells me about the things that he saw. I also went to school in that mixed boarding school with a lot of Africans from other African countries. So I grew up understanding that Kenya was very blessed to have peace, and we can't take it for granted. And so what did I start to do? I realized that the voices that you could see on TV every night were angry politicians, yes? Street, this has happened, that has happened. So we as a people were getting angrier and angrier. But those politicians were the extremes. There is a missing middle, a big middle of people who are not being heard on the media. So I started looking for those people, average people, normal people. Some were leaders, some were just in private sector, you know, some are ordinary citizens, farmers, some are from women's groups, and I started asking them, what do you think about this situation? I started something called Voices of Reason, because I thought if Kenyans are able to watch other Kenyans like them, yes, speaking from a position of reason, maybe we can salvage this situation. And that was very powerful. You know, so I'll just say, for me, that was my most difficult moment. And I asked myself, how do I find a role in doing good? And thank God, by the grace of God, we came back from that precipice. The young lady asked, who was my role model? I have had so many role models in my life. So many role models. And for most of my role models, I've never met them. So I want to combine this question with another question. Somebody else asked, name a person who has had a great impact on me as a public speaker. You know, I've mentioned Moses already. It's very funny, but I'll come back to Moses in the Bible. How many of you know that Moses used to stutter? Did you know that Moses was a stutterer, right? Stutter. Like, is it Oliech who stutters? And Moses was a stutterer, and he had to go to Pharaoh and say, you know, God says, let my people go. He had to find a way to communicate in a profound manner. And for me, that is really inspiring. So in a way, Moses was my role model, because I said to myself, this guy was starting from such a challenging position, and he had to overcome it. And that was something that I looked at. In terms of life, there are many role models. I have role models all across Africa. There's a gentleman called Ali Mufuruki in Tanzania who kind of has been a guiding light for quite a number of us East Africans. In the media, I used to watch Zain Verji. Who remembers Zain Verji? No, you guys are too young for Zain. Oh my gosh. So she was very well spoken, and I really admired her. She was great. But as I'm going to remind you, you have to find your own uniqueness. Does that make sense? Find your own unique qualities. Somebody else asked, having worked with international media houses. Actually, you know, I need to say, I've been offered opportunities at a number, or I had been several years back, of international media houses, which I didn't take. I actually think international media houses have their own very big flaws. One of their flaws is the way they tell the African story. Do you remember when Obama came to Kenya? What did CNN call us? Hotbed of terrorism? I mean, to be really honest, there are probably more terror attacks on American soil that are done by internal terrorists, homegrown terrorists in America, than there have been attacks in Kenya. So it's very unfair to make Kenya a hotbed of terrorism. Europe is going through its own challenges. So is the whole world a hotbed of terrorism? So I really feel that even when I look at international media houses today, maybe in terms of technology, they've achieved a lot, but they have their own problems. Anybody who's watching the Trump campaign in the US and looking at the coverage of that campaign and what he managed to achieve getting the Republican nomination and how he was covered and the media perspective, I actually think they have a lot of growth to do. I'll tell you this, Kenyan media in Africa is one of the most free and robust media platforms. In fact, even globally, Kenyan media is very strong. Maybe the issue is how can we refine it? How can we also balance so we don't have too much politics? Because I think we do a lot of political news. We need to do more development stuff. We need to do more lobbying in terms of development projects. There's a lot of traffic in Nairobi now. We don't keep writing and asking what the Nairobi County Council, what the government and what the World Bank are doing on a Nairobi Metropolitan Transport Plan, which should be happening. And so I think the media can get better. We are very robust, but I would hesitate to say that we need to model ourselves on the CNNs and the BBCs. I think we need to find our own unique voices. There was another question from Samira about part-time jobs. And the young man called Sharif from Garissa, what did Sharif ask? Does anyone remember us? Remember? Where are you? The young man from Garissa? Yes, please come back. I'm so sorry. My handwriting is that bad. Trying to decipher. What did you ask?
I asked for you to become a journalist. Must you have a
Yes. It was the controversial question. Yes. So when I came back to Kenya, I wasn't planning on staying in Kenya. I came back when I finished my master's in business administration. I wanted to hustle, struggle, survive, work for a year to earn a bit of money, and then I thought I was going to go to New York to do the bar. I thought my life plan was I was going to be a New York lawyer, high-flying lawyer in New York. Then I met my husband, and I decided it was okay to shift plans kidogo. So thank you, Mr. GICHURU, for keeping me in Kenya. When I started looking for a job, my friends told me, and that time it was much worse than it is today. We were living in the KANU era. And I know people like saying, Kenya is bad, Kenya is this, but you had to live through the KANU era to understand. Things were tough. And my friends told me, Julie, you'll take at least 6 months to a year to get a job, okay? And second of all, you can't get a job without a godfather somewhere. So kama nyinyi hamna godfathers, poleni. So I said, okay, but I felt really bad, but I said I'm going to try anyway. And I printed out CVs. I sent CVs to banks. I sent CVs to the World Bank. I sent CVs all over the place because I had studied law and I had done an MBA. Then I decided, I was watching news and I thought, I can do this. I think I can do this. Lawyers are taught to read, to interpret, to communicate. I was sure I could do journalism. And so I just walked into KTN one day with my CV and they said, will you do a screen test? And I said, I will. It was a Thursday. I did a screen test and they told me to start on Monday. And I didn't know anybody inside KTN. I've hired a lot of people over my career when I was at Nation and in other places, and I didn't know who they were or where they came from. It's the spirit they came with, it's the talent they came with, it's the education and the knowledge they came with. When I started at KTN on Monday, I remember actually asking them, how come you hired me? I was told I wouldn't get a job for like 6 months to a year. Why did you hire me? And they said, young lady, we hired you because on your CV, you have law and you have business. And we have challenges with legal and business reporting. And I was sent to report from the courts. So I started off in journalism as a court reporter. So I want you to have the confidence that when people in life tell you you can't achieve something, you will need a godfather, go anyway. Do what? Go anyway, try anyway, do it anyway. Because I'm telling you, it is the naysayers in life who put us off trying, and yet the opportunities are there. In terms of Samira asking me about my job, Samira, actually, journalism is a small part of what I was doing, and now I run a company called Arimus Media Limited. We produce a lot of shows. We are hoping, God willing, to launch a TV station before the end of this year where our own content will be on air and will be primarily airing African and Kenyan content. I'm a director in several companies and on several boards, so I do a lot of things and I enjoy doing all of them. The final question is, when did I discover my passion? I discovered my passion for journalism when I was very young. But as a child, I kept being told, you can't do this. When I decided to go and study for university, it was journalism, law, or drama. I opted for law, but they're very interrelated. I just want to encourage you, as you choose your topics for university, to not necessarily think in a box. Just remember, you could actually study a science and end up being a science specialist in media. Does that make sense? You could study management and end up being a sports management specialist, which is something we need so desperately in Kenya. So always remember, as you seek your path, again, I said be adaptable, and remember the career choices you make might shift slightly as you go into the workplace, but that is also okay. My final words, You know, Steve Jobs said, stay hungry, stay foolish. And that is such an important message. Always be ready to learn and to know more. Remember that this is the one life we have. Do your best for yourself today because you might not have tomorrow. It's not promised to you. And along this difficult journey of life, young ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to have fun. To have what? To have fun, to enjoy it. I really wish you all the best in everything that you do. It is my hope that you put your head down and work hard. It is my hope that you enjoy life and remember to smell the roses. It is my hope that you will achieve success. But I want to come back to the two students who spoke at the beginning. That success must be what you want for your life, not defined by anybody else. And that success must give you satisfaction. God bless you, and thank you so much for having me with you today. Thank you. You guys are not doing a-dee-dee-dee-dee for me? Okay, I'm kidding.
Wasn't that a wonderful talk from Julia? Julie, thank you very much for your insightful presentation to these scholars. Stay foolish, stay hungry. Be principled, follow your path, follow your dreams, be adaptable. All the things that you will keep being told over and over again because they are true. Whatever age, whatever time in your life, there are certain attributes, certain values, certain principles that drive and guide our lives, whatever time in our lives. So, Julie, thank you for such an amazing presentation. Let me confess that I've tried to get Julie here. How many times? Many times. But she's busy. And what happens is when people are busy, you need to give them adequate notice, adequate time, and you hope that they're not going to be sent on the next assignment or have another assignment that takes them out of the country. So when I say thank you to Julie, I truly mean it. She really has made time to come and speak to you, and it's because there is something special about Julie. She is one of the most authentic media people I know. She lives true to her word, lives true to her value, and she's the one person who's never ashamed to say God first. God first, always. She always says God first, and her authenticity comes through each time. So if you want someone who's not going to fool you and tell you things that they don't believe in, Julie is always your person, and I really thank her and really appreciate her for that. We have two scholars who